Reverend Morgan.
Thank you, Rev Margaret.
So, all the power and intelligence of the universe is already within, waiting to be utilized. And make sure you turn off all cellular phones because mine is ringing. Oh, it's in there. All right, I'm going to start that over again. Got my attention. All the power and intelligence of the universe is already within,
Yes.
waiting to be utilized.
Yes.
The divine spark must be fanned into a blaze of living fire of your own divinity. Love that Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind. Each week this month, we have fanned the divine flame. First, I remember it was SPARK. It was the acronym we used, SPARK. S-P-A-R-K. First, we explored the importance of keeping it simple. That's the S part. Remembering it's all love and law. And that's our S in the spark. The P was about playing and praying. And then the third Sunday we talked, but more importantly we experienced the awesome nature of God that is within us. We experienced it. And last week we explored I love every week. But we explored that God is awesome. And we talked about God is awesome. That's the A. And that the world is the outer experiences that we have are a reflection of that which is within us, what we are feeling, what we are thinking. And then we also talked about, if you remember, being the jewel within. In that talk, which I love, that we each have a jewel within us, a beautiful jewel, and that is our divinity. So today is the final ingredient. Today is the part where we fan the flame into existence, because it's the K. Kick it into gear. So today we are kicking it into gear. And what does that mean? So there is a key ingredient to the ability to kick it into gear, and to illustrate the power and potential of this ingredient. And because this is the Sunday we are celebrating the 4th of July, it's July 4th weekend, I wanted to share with you a piece of American history. And this is from an unlikely source, but it's one of my favorite books, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Fabulous book. Okay, this was in his book. It is an account of what occurred at the Continental Congress beginning on June 7th, 1776. At this Congress were the likes of Samuel Adams, Richard Henry Lee, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and Patrick Henry. So on June 7th, 1776, Richard Henry Lee arose and addressed the chair, and he startled the whole assembly when he made this motion.
Gentlemen, I make the motion that these united colonies are, and of right, ought to be free and independent states, that they be absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved.
Lee's astounding motion was discussed fervently, and at such length that he began to lose patience. And finally, after days of arguing, he again took the floor and declared in a clear, firm voice,
Mr. President, we have discussed this issue for days. It is our only course for us to follow. Why then, sir, do we longer delay? Why still deliberate? Let his happy days give birth to American Republic. Let her arise, not to be devastated and to conquer, but to reestablish the reign of peace and law. The eyes of Europe are fixed upon us. She demands of us a living example of freedom that may be exhibited a contrast in the efficiency of the citizen to the ever-increasing tyranny.
Before his motion was finally voted upon, Lee was called back to Virginia because of a family emergency. But before leaving, he placed his cause in the hands of a friend, Thomas Jefferson, who promised to fight until favorable action was taken. Shortly thereafter, the president of the Congress appointed Jefferson as chairman of the committee to draw up a Declaration of Independence. Long and hard, the committee labored on a document. And on June 28th, the original draft was read before the Congress. For several days, it was discussed, altered, and made ready. Then, on July 4th, 1776, Thomas Jefferson stood before the Assembly and fearlessly read the most momentous decision ever placed upon paper.
When in the course of human events it is necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And so Thomas Jefferson read for the first time the Declaration of Independence. When he finished, the document was voted upon, accepted, and signed by 56 men, everyone staking his life upon his decision to write his name. The analysis of the events that led to the crafting and signing of the Declaration of Independence shows that the American nation was born of a decision created by a mastermind of 56 men. Note well the fact that it was their decision that ensured the success of Washington's armies, because the spirit of that decision was in the heart of every soldier who fought with him and served as a spiritual power that recognized no such thing as failure. By that decision came into existence a nation destined to bring to humankind forever the privilege of making decisions. Whatever we say about this nation, and there's lots of stuff we say, we look for the good, and the good that we have been endowed with is the freedom to make decisions. And so, my friends, what is the key? Well, I gave it to you already, but tell me, what is the key ingredient there of this morning's topic, do you think?
Make decisions.
Thank you. Decisions. We kick it into gear. We kick into gear the igniting of the spark of our divine flame today by making a decision. And before we talk about what kind of decision, I want to explore for a moment what a decision really is. The word decision comes from a Latin root, D meaning from, and then the decision part is to cut, meaning to cut. Therefore, a decision means cutting from other possibilities. Cutting from other possibilities. A true decision then means you are committed to achieving a result and then cutting yourself off from other possibilities. Those 56 men who signed our Declaration of Independence made a true decision. Many of us actually have made weak decisions in our lives. We fail to realize what it means to make a real decision. And we absolutely do not realize the powerful force a truly committed decision calls forth. And one of my favorite readings is from W.H. Murray and his book, The Scottish Himalayan Expedition, and I'm going to read it again because it fits right in here. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness, concerning all acts of initiative. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. A whole stream of events issue from that decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. I learned, he wrote, a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets, which we are familiar with, I'm sure. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic. So, let's put this into context then of our spiritual lives. What does this mean for us? What are we truly committed to spiritually? Something to think about. Are we committed to breaking through beliefs and perceptions that keep us playing small in the world? Are we committed to releasing anger and judgment and guilt and shame? Are we committed to evolving our own consciousness? Are we committed to supporting the evolution of the consciousness of humanity? If so, we are committing moment by moment these decisions to support. Every decision we make sets into action, into motion, the creative process, which we know, this is what the whole logo is about, we know is the basis of our affirmative prayer. The thought into the law becomes the thing. Well, the thought must come with a committed, clear decision if you really want a powerful manifestation. It's interesting to consider that our committed decisions actually show up in a lot of different spiritual places. Actually, just two, really. This is interesting. They show up in two places, our real strong, committed decisions, on our calendars and our checkbook. No matter what we say we value, or even what we think our priorities are, we have only to look at our calendars and our checkbooks to see the decisions we have made about what we truly value. Am I correct?
Yes.
It's a concept. I know that often we worry. We worry about whether we are making the right decisions, so much so that we get paralyzed. I was thinking about a scene from a Star Wars movie, this one from the Good trilogy. And if you remember, this fits in here so beautifully. If you remember when Luke Skywalker is being trained in how to use the Force, how to be in harmony with the law of his own being, accessing the power and capacity, the brilliance that is within him and within each one of us, as we talked about last week. And his instructor, Yoda, kept saying, "Go with the Force, Luke, go with the Force." Luke finally turned to Yoda and said, "But how do I know if I am making the right decision or the wrong decision?" And Yoda said, "You will know by peace and calm." And any decision you make, you deepen into your own spirituality. So to live from this higher place of being, any decision that you make ignites the spark of divinity that is within you. It ignites it, any decision that you make. But you'll know if it's the right decision when you feel the peace and the calm. It might not feel comfortable, but there is a peace and a calm that this is the right thing to do. Doesn't have to feel comfortable, but it feels right. And so you are one with the laws of your own being when you are in peace and when you are in that calmness of your own nature. And like I said, it doesn't mean that you're going to be 100% comfortable. If it's a big decision, one that is causing you to stretch and grow, there may be some trepidation underneath. That will be a knowing. There will be always that knowing if it's right or if it's wrong. Because that intelligence within you truly knows what is right and what is wrong. Do we all get that? Talk about that. We have this beautiful intelligence, that essence, that God spark that is connected with all that is, was, and ever shall be. That part within us, always, if we learn, that's why meditation is so powerful, and that is a decision to make, a committed decision. Am I meditating every day? Because that's how you get in touch with that divine essence within. And having said all that, let me let you in on a little secret. You cannot make a wrong choice a bad decision. Did you know that? Any step that you take, I'll explain a little. Any step that you take will eventually lead you to your good. Because a negative experience, which feels negative, encountered will produce the challenge in which to outgrow that consciousness from which the choice was made. Bear with me. Leading to a higher consciousness when you're aware, from which more constructive steps will be taken. So a wrong decision is actually the right decision at that particular time. Rethink a few things there, huh? It leads. And Ernest Holmes writes in Spiritual Awareness, this is from page 84, his book called Spiritual Awareness. Our divine nature never deserts us. Like the prodigal son, we may wander into far countries of despair, but the divinity within us ever gently urges us back to the center of our true being. It ever reminds us of its presence if we permit it. This spiritual self, he writes, will direct our every decision with intelligence and make perfect our way before us. So we can't really get it wrong, even though it might feel like it's wrong. Look for the lesson in that, because the next step will lead you further into a deeper consciousness. And that's the awareness of the innate intelligence and perfection that is the truth of each one's being. So it's good to know, isn't it?
Yes.
It can perhaps alleviate our, what we can call analysis paralysis, somewhat. Because to make a decision, do I make it, do I not, do I make it, do I not? And so what is the law responding to? Confusion, to nothing. So make the wrong decision, because it's going to turn into the right one eventually. Make a decision, that's what I'm saying. So I wonder this morning then, if one will commit in a committed decision, that you could then completely set, as I talked about, that law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, into motion to spark your divinity. And so think about that for a minute. As I quote one of, I know Carol and my favorite authors, Raymond Charles Parker, yes, the power of decision. Decision, he writes, is the most important function of the individual mind. No creative process can begin until a decision is made. No creative process, and we create our lives, can be made until can come about until a decision is made. So what might that decision be? Are you willing to make it right here and right now? Are you willing to pledge allegiance to your own growth? Your own dreams. I pledge allegiance to my own dreams. Whoa. To your own divinity.
Yeah.
Here, today, by making that decision.
Yes.
If so, stand up then with me. We're going to do a pledge of allegiance. Yeah. So repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the God of one heart. I pledge allegiance to God of one heart. One mind. One mind. And one love. And one love. And to the decision that supports my growth. And to the decision that supports my growth. One moment. One moment. Under God. Under God. Indivisible with peace. Indivisible with peace. With calm and with power. With calm and with power. Thank you. That was powerful. Yes, so it is, we say. Yes. And so the end of our month here, well, this is the beginning of July, but the talk just went over because we had Reverend Dr. Patty gave the talk at the beginning of the month, so we're finishing the end of June. I'm still thinking we're in June. We're finishing it anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah. So the end of the month, this is a quote I'm going to read. We've been using this for all of the Spark talks. And it's this: all the power and intelligence of the universe is already within, waiting to be utilized. The divine spark must be fanned into a blaze of the living fire of your own divinity. So, fan the flame, keeping it simple. Fan the flame by fully participating in life. Fan the flame by experiencing the awesome nature of God. And fan the flame by connecting with the jewel of the divine that you are, so that your outer world is a reflection of that which is within. And fan the flame by kicking it into gear with the decisions that support your evolution in consciousness, right here and right now, and so it is.